The first snow of winter always felt like magic, blanketing our little world in a soft, quiet hush. But as days turned into weeks, the endless white began to feel less like a wonderland and more like a cage. The roads were impassable, and with them, our connection to the outside world was severed. No letters arrived from home. The postman's familiar cheerful whistle was just a distant memory, and a heavy silence settled over the dormitories, a silence filled with unspoken longing and homesickness. I watched my friends, their faces pressed against the frosty window panes, searching the empty, winding road for a sign of hope that never came. Little Tom clutched a worn photograph of his family, his bottom lip trembling, then boisterous. Leo, who usually filled the halls with laughter, sat quietly in a corner, his usual spark gone. The shared joy of our school life was slowly being replaced by individual sadness. Our cozy haven had started to feel isolating, each of us trapped in our own little bubble of nostalgia and longing for a familiar voice from home. One evening, as I sat by the fireplace sketching in my notebook, an idea flickered to life, warm and bright like the embers in the hearth. What if we couldn't receive letters, but we could still give them? I gathered everyone in the common room. The air was thick with gloom, but I held up a stack of paper and a fistful of pencils. I know we miss our families, I began, my voice a little shaky. We are a family too, aren't we? What if ... What if we wrote letters to each other? Twos. They just stared at me, confused. But we see each other every day, Lila, someone mumbled. Exactly, I replied, a smile spreading across my face. But how often do we really tell each other what we mean to one another? Let's write down the things we're too shy to say. A thank you, a compliment, a silly joke, a shared secret. A flicker of interest sparked in their eyes. The idea was strange, but it was something new, something to break the monotony of waiting. Slowly, hesitantly, they took the paper and pens. The scratch of pencils soon replaced the sorrowful silence. I wrote a letter to quiet Alara, telling her how much her gentle piano playing soothed my heart. I wrote to Leo, thanking him for making me laugh so hard I cried that one time in the garden. I even wrote one to our stern head mistress, thanking her for the extra blanket she'd quietly placed on my bed last week. We created a makeshift postbox from an old wooden crate, decorating it with painted snowflakes and ribbons. The next morning was electric with anticipation. We gathered around our little postbox, and I became the postmistress for the day. I called out names, and one by one, they came forward to receive their mail. The room filled with gasps, quiet giggles, and the rustle of paper. I saw Tom's face light up as he read a note from Leo, inviting him to build the ultimate snow fort. I saw two friends who had quarreled, Anna and Chloe, exchange a look of forgiveness after reading letters they'd written to each other. The letters were filled with kindness. You have the sunniest smile. Thank you for sharing your cookies with me. You're braver than you think. Each sentence was a tiny thread, weaving us all closer together. Stitch in our lonely hearts into a warm, colorful quilt of friendship. The homesickness didn't vanish completely, but it was no longer a heavy burden. Instead, it was a shared feeling, softened by the love and appreciation we had found right here, within our own walls. That winter, the snow kept falling, but it no longer felt like a barrier. We learned that even when the world outside is cold and distant, we can create our own warmth. We learned that a few simple words, written from the heart, can travel farther than any postman and deliver more comfort than we could ever imagine. The letters we wrote to each other became the real magic, tuning a winter without mail into a season filled with connection, kindness, and unforgettable memories. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If our story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more tales from our little school. Your support means the world to us. See you next time.